Go right ahead.
Ready?
Ready,
Can you
Freddie?
hear me? Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
All right, good. My name is Leo Hurley. I'm an alcoholic, and I am honored to be here tonight. And I would like to tell you, I have an AA sobriety date of February the 19th, 1973. My real sobriety date should be June 22nd, 1939 at 6:26 a.m. in Brooklyn Hospital. I was born. I should have been taken from the delivery room to an AA meeting, like every other alcoholic, I believe. So if you're looking for any date when you became an alcoholic, we're born this way. Nothing causes alcoholism. I've done a lot of studying. I work in the field of alcoholism, and I found the number one cause of alcoholism: women. No. Must be men then, right? No. So if it's not men, it's not women, it's not my mommy or my daddy or the Irish or the Catholic Church or any of this other crap. Because I spoke at AA's International Convention in 1995 in San Diego. There were 140 nations there, and they weren't all Irish. At Jack Murphy Stadium that night, we had 66,000 people. And I got to talk to a bunch of them, and I found 32 different religions, and they weren't all Catholic. So number one cause of alcoholism, alcohol. And we're born this way, I believe, because you could have put me in with the Brady Bunch, the Partridge Family. You could have had Mother Teresa as my mother. The Pope is my father, and I'm still alcoholic. It didn't matter. Now, it doesn't matter where you grow up anyway. You want to see where I grew up, you get that movie out, Goodfellas, and you'll see my neighbors. And I knew Henry and Jimmy and Tommy. I know guys who make them look like choir boys. I've known them all my life. Alcoholism doesn't run in my family. It gallops right through it. My grandfather, Big Mike, was a rum runner and a bookmaker in Hell's Kitchen. And then he moved to Brooklyn. He had speakeasies, after hours joints. He had 12 kids. And 6 of my uncles were Bone Crusher Butch and Gangsy and Muggsy. My father's friends were Frankie Auto Parts and Joey Bag of Donuts and Knuckles O'Toole and Joe Shapiro, Maxie the Jeweler. I used to deliver money to Frank Costello when I was a kid, and he used to tell me, call me Uncle Frankie. And I liked that. And then everybody would say, tell Uncle Frankie, that I gave you this and that. And I liked that feeling. And I went along with that. But I drank socially for the ages of 1 to 13. It was during the Second World War. We had parties. I always drank. I don't remember the damn stuff doing anything to me, except, taking little swigs out of glasses, running around parties and pouring drinks for people. I had a good Catholic education. I hear a lot of whiners in AA. I'm a recovering Catholic. I ain't. Catholic Church was good for a guy like me. They wanted me to be shrewd and sharp and tough and strong and all. They wanted me to go somewhere. I never went anywhere. Someone said, Leo, why don't you travel overseas? I said, I did. I went to Staten Island because you had to take a ferry in those days. It was like a big trip, for God's sake. Why would you go anywhere? I mean, I had this Catholic education. We had a brother Matthias by the 5th grade. He used to hold you bang, 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 and he'd give you the machine gun. And if you flinched or moved, he started over. We had a little guy, Franny Torrey, used to sit in the front. He'd fold his eyelids up, and he'd start laughing. Brother would punch you through the wall. But in my neighborhood, you don't see nothing, you don't hear nothing, you don't know nothing, you certainly never tell nobody, and you certainly never tell nobody nothing. My mother would send me to the doctor and say, don't tell him nothing. If I was the doctor, let him find out. So I didn't have any trouble when I got to this AA. I wasn't going to tell you nothing, but I didn't have to. Because I'll be real honest with you. I said I was an alcoholic February the 19th, 1973, for the first time in my life. Because I come from Brooklyn, and I know if you say something, you better be it. Because my neighborhood, you say you're a boxer, you better be one. I'm going to box the ears off you. So I knew, but I never said I was alcoholic. And then that magic moment came for me. It was June 22nd, 1952. I walked into a schoolyard in Brooklyn. I was only 13 that day. I was going to start hanging around with a street gang. I was only 5'6". I weighed 200 pounds. I was bought in my hair, I had a cowlick. I had a pair of BF Flyer sneakers. We didn't have these Reeboks and all these other things. I look like Spanky from our gang. Like I'm flying in out of these real tough guys. They got tattoos of mom and dad and murder and riot, and shoot straight and kill someone before you get shot. The girls had on these tight dungarees and pink sweaters, and whoa. And a local guy, little Augie, had just gotten out of Elmira. He took us into the alley, me and two other guys, and he handed me a bottle of Rheingold. Anybody know what that is? It's beer, Brooklyn's best. And I sat down and I started to drink it. And halfway down, that thing happened to change my life till this day. My feet got hot. I thought the guy next to me gave me a hot foot. I was going to poke him. And it shot up. I stood up. I took another drink. I re-looked. I was 6'5", 280. I had arms on me like that Schwarzenegger guy. I remember looking into the mirror. Half me looked like Clint Eastwood. The other half looked like Warren Beatty. I had that John Gotti, get over here, you jackasses. I could dance like Fred Astaire. I could fight like Mike Tyson. That reversed itself 20 years later. I could fight like Fred Astaire and dance like Mike Tyson. And here's the best part of all that drink that night. All these women who frightened me a minute ago were looking at me saying, take me, Leo, take me. God, what a great magic thing this stuff is. I don't got to go to those dumb dances no more. Would you like to dance? No, I'd hang myself in the bathroom. 2 drinks. Hey, baby, you want to dance? No, then screw you. Don't ask me later. And that was it. But that cost me right off. It cost me hundreds of millions of dollars. There's a lawyer out in Washington. His name is Robert S. Bennett. He was Clinton's lawyer during his presidency. He was Hillary's lawyer. He's Carl Icahn's lawyer. I heard he was going to be Hillary's lawyer. I went to grammar school with Bobby. I used to box him in a boys' club. I was twice as smart as him. Only I suffered from 2 things. I had that attention deficit order when it first came out, and I'm alcoholic. I picked up that drink June of 52 and June of 53 when I graduated from grammar school. I graduated with a 4.0 average, blood alcohol. and I never drank to get drunk. Drunk stinks. I just drank to get high. I was just a get high guy. I only needed 2 drinks. 1 to make me even, 2 to make me superior. That second drink slid down. Right now, after 50 years, if I took 2 drinks, I look in the mirror, I'd see Brad Pitt. My hair'd be all blonde. I'd be 50 years younger. Anybody ask you that dumb question, why do you drink? Of course, it makes me feel better, you jackass. That's why I drink. It's the only reason we drink. Gets rid of fear, guilt, remorse, whatever the hell you're getting rid of. But as it goes, I'll be quick with this. About a month after this, my mother says to me, come here, Tubby. She takes me to a diet doctor. He gives me these little white pills. I lose 50, 60 pounds. I grow 5.5 inches. And I stopped taking them and I gained 60 pounds. So better living through chemistry for the next, I guess, 19.5 years. I took like 8 diet pills a day. I didn't know, but they were speed. I took enough speed to get rid of Richard Simmons' whole crew. Let me tell you something. I was like a rat on crack. I drove at 1 speed, 100. I drove up you, around you, honking. You cut me up in Brooklyn, I trace you to Montauk Point to cut you back off. Oh my God, what a stupid thing that was. And I loved that because, see, I was an egomaniac with an inferiority complex. 2 drinks, I was an egomaniac with a superior complex. And I liked that feeling. I didn't have to tell anybody. I could walk around on top of the world. You know, God, it was so great. Because I learned all the jackass things a clown like me would learn. Friday and Saturday night in my neighborhood was shark skin suit night. We always wear these shark skin suits, pink shirts, pink ties. I had these $1,000 suits on. I didn't pay for them. They fell off trucks and wound up in my father's bar. We had pointy shoes, these little Italian guys. And I'd head out into the Copacabana. I was only 15, but my father was the bookmaker there, so they used to allow me to come in. And I'm a big mouth to my friends, a little shy with the women. So I'd come in and I'd see her, look around, I'd see a nice looking babe way down the end. And I'd give her a big wink. You women know a jackass like me. I say, I think I'll ask her to dance. I'd have about 20 quick drinks. Of course, taking the speed allowed me to do 3 things real well. I could outdrink everybody. I could take a good punch, and I was delusional as hell. I would wake up, I'm going to win the lottery. I didn't have a ticket. I'm going to get promoted. I have a job. I mean, this is crazy. But I say, on a 20th drink, I'd say, screw her. She wants to dance. Let her come down here with me. And now, as you men know, when you drink that way, you have to go to the men's room. And you get in that little booth and you pick up that toilet seat with your foot. God forbid my hand should touch that toilet seat. I'm like a surgeon in there at 9 o'clock at night. 4 o'clock in the morning, my tongue is in that bowl throwing up. There'd be pigeon. I go home Saturday morning, pigeon caca all over. There's a great movie out. called Blind Date with Bruce Willis. He goes out with an alcoholic and they tell him, don't give her a drink. Well, he does. You should see what happens to him. This was a regular Saturday night for me. Car doors missing, who cares? Just get a new one. And that's the way it went along. I mean, I just thought that was the way life went. And here's the state I'm in. It's 1959. I'm selfish, self-centered, self-seeking, full of self-delusion, wallowing in self-pity. I'm full of jealousy and lust. I'm vulgar and foul-mouthed. I decided I better get married. This is a joke. I couldn't take care of a turtle. How am I going to take care of a marriage? My idea is splitting a case of beer is 23 for me, 1 for you, and let me taste yours. And if you're lonely, go to your mother's. And in the next 10 years, I asked 10 of them to marry me. Only 4 of them were stupid enough to go up the aisle with me. I married 4 of the prettiest, gorgeous, caring, sharing, Mother Teresa type women. When I finished with them, Freddy Krueger wouldn't have them. They were vicious and vindictive and full of wrath and carrying. I never hit them. You never hit a woman in my neighborhood. You get your jaw broken, crap like that. But I'll be right back. I don't come back for 3 days. My wife ever did that, I'd run her over with a truck. And I thought that was okay. I divided up the house evenly with 4 women. They got the inside, I got the outside. And every one of my wives, as soon as they moved, they changed their name to the plaintiff. And now it's 1962. I bought a bar in Brooklyn. I didn't actually buy it. My father owned it, but it was on the known gangster list, so they put it in my name. I love this. You see, I was a drinker. I drank all over with everybody. I was a well-liked guy all over except at home. I don't know. I just thought it was nice to be out. And I had this bar. Dean Martin was my idol. I used to drink with him and Gleason and Sinatra over in Toots Shores. And I loved this. In fact, I was going to put a fire pole in this bar and come down in the morning and slip down. My breakfast was 6 shots of cognac and 2 diet pills. Lunch with a chocolate malted, vanilla malted for lunch with 6 shots of cognac, 2 diet pills. Dinner was a strawberry malted, and out for the night. I got a family at home. But I sort of cared, but I thought they didn't care anyway. Now, here it is. It's 1964. I made my first AA meeting. I was in front of a federal judge downtown Brooklyn. I had my $1,000 suit, my $500 pair of shoes, and handcuffs. He's got all these charges, guns, assaults, and me. Mr. Hurley, just what do you think the problem here is? Oh, I said, the Italians. I hang around with these crazy Italians and I married them. He said, get them out. No, get back here. I want you to go to AA. Oh, mother of God, I spun around in that courtroom. You see, I know what AA is for those damn alcoholics. And I knew where they were. They were over in the Bowery. Any smart guy knows that. Jeez, you got to be a jackass. And I knew how they got there. They popped up through the concrete. Poof. They had sex and had little bums and they all went to those meetings. Why the hell would I want to go? I'm a shop guy. So he said, well, Leo, I'll tell you, here's your choice. You can call this woman an intergroup or go to Rikers and Sing Sing. I said, well, all right, I'll make that call. I call up this nice woman in AA and she said to me, oh my God, you're lucky, Leo. We got a meeting right on your corner. I said, lady, are you crazy? Suppose somebody sees me. Now, I didn't mind fires in the house, police arrested me, cars that I won a demolition derby. So anyway, she said, where would you like to go? I said, San Francisco. So she said, we settled on Bay Ridge, which is the ass end of Brooklyn. The beginning, in case you should come from there. And I went on a Friday because I spoke in Texas at a big convention. I said that, and some woman comes storming up after the meeting. I came from there. I said, okay, lady, I'll say it's the beginning. Anyway, I go on a Friday night. I put on my black suit, black shirt, black hat, black tie, black sunglasses, black mustache. I look like Zorro coming into this thing. Now, the average age in 1964 was 55. Oh, 55. Oh, musty Irish people. It looked like God's waiting room. I come flying in the door, and the guy said to me, I said, come here. He said, what? I said, who's in charge here? He said, what? I said, where's that Wilson guy? He said, sit down. Where's that Wilson guy? And I sat down, I look around, and I see all these dumb things. Be nice, live and let live, work for the grace of God. Oh, and then I seen the slogan I liked, said exit. So how would I win? But I had to go to 90 meetings, and third meeting in, I meet Bill Wilson himself. I'm all shopped up. I got my new suit on, my shirt, jacket. I say, Bill, come here. I figure you get the president of the company to sign this thing for probation. It'll look good. He said, what's your name? I said, Leo. He said to me, are you an alcoholic? I said, Bill, are you serious? Come out of the rain. And he said something I never forgot. He said to me, rarely have we seen a person get sober who continues to drink. I said, well, that makes sense to me, you jackass. I didn't say it to him. And for the next 8.5 years, I never relapsed. I never stopped drinking. I never said I was an alcoholic and drank again. I believe when you say that, you should never drink again, or don't say the damn thing. But I tried everything not to be an alcoholic. I drank left-handed, white wine with fish, red wine with meat, vodka with prune juice, vodka with apple juice, vodka with tang. And when I wasn't drinking, I'd have a beer in my hand. Leo, you drinking? No. Now they have light beer. Anybody ought to like cocaine? I don't think so. I know they stiff you with it, but I don't know what the hell that's all about. And oh God, what a stupid thing this is. I got thrown out of my own bar on January 1st, 1967. My father and the Godfather came because I was in there 20 hours a day. I was up 23 hours. I might as well spend some time in my bar and working and doing it. And but I'm a hustler. Since 1950, I've never missed a day's work. And I went to work at Wall Street. So if there's anybody new on this thing tonight and you have a nice, secure job, hold on to it. Of course, 5 minutes after you're fired, you don't work there no more. And I worked for a big firm, Merrill Lynch, Pierce Fenner, and Leo Hurley. I thought I was a partner in the place because I was always, I was on stupid diet pills. I was in early, left late, and oh my God, I was a great worker. Everybody loved me. I did their work because I just wanted to get going. And so if anybody doesn't understand that, here's what happened. I think it was April 1st, 1972. They called me in for what I deemed to be a big promotion, and they fired me. Oh my God, because 2 months before this, I got in trouble with this counterfeit money, and my brother's a cop. He came to me and said, look, I'll help you out, but you got to stop taking those diet pills. So I threw them away, and I gained 150 pounds in a week. I went from 140 to 290. I'm fire engine red, blood pressure at stroke level. I look like a tomato with a tie on. I'm all blown up. That's Don King hair. Oh my God. And I ain't wearing these $1,000 suits no more. I got a $19.95 from Louis Levy on Canal Street. It's a wash and wear. When it rains, it shrinks. And I only got, you had to see this, one pair of shoes left. I used to pay $500 for these little pointy Italian guys. If I kicked you, I'd stab you to death with these things. But when you're a shop guy and you throw up, you lean way out. You never throw up into the wind. It comes back on you. But now I'm getting sloppy. I go, bleh, and it'd be all over my shoes. And I had a pot pie, so now there's peas and carrots all on there. And I'd go home and I'd put the shoes under the radiator to dry out. They curled up like elf shoes. You had to see these things. And now I'm getting dressed, looking for a job. But before I'd go looking, we'd stop in this nice bar called the Blarney Stone in New York. And there's me and 3 other jackasses, and we're watching Captain Kangaroo. And we're talking like he's our friend. And at 9 o'clock, I go on a job interview. And the guy had my resume. I'd be talking to his secretary. Wow, this looks good. Loan shark. He said he did his own business. Cars. Oh my God, worked in a bar, owned his own. Oh, send Mr. Hurley in. And he'd look up. What the hell is this? And I get all my teeth knocked out. So I got gum and mints and chlorets in there. And I got this painkiller to keep it. And I go like this, and the stuff would all lose out green. One guy pressed for security. Now, here, for the first time in my life, I woke up shaking. I don't know if anybody's ever had that happen. That stinks. I'm shaking like hell. I never had that happen before. And, you know, they always say paranoia is indigenous just with cocaine. Don't you ever believe that? I never used cocaine in my life. And I was so paranoid, I thought the guy in front of me was following me. That's how paranoid I had become. I went up to some guy on Wall Street. I said, who set you? He turned around. He said, what? I knew he had mirrors. I wouldn't go to football games anymore because I knew in the huddle they were talking about me. You know how they point up to the stands? I knew that, so I'm not going to those stupid football games anymore. This stinks. Plus, oh my God. No. I got in a fight with this guy, Frankie, from South Brooklyn in June of '65. And beat the hell out of me. So I went down and I worked out kung fu, right shot, throat shot, boom, bang, bang, boom, boom. 5 months. I got in a fight with Frankie again. He beat the hell out of me. So I went home and I wrote in my book, never fight with Frankie again. I circled that. I'd see him. How you doing, Frankie? Good to see you, man. I love you. And that went nice. Yeah, right, Leo. Well, I'm not a jackass. Oh my God, this alcohol beat the crap out of me for the first time in my life. I don't know. I don't like beating. So I laid off. I went back to this AA. Of course, my wife, it's 5 months, 5 weeks I stayed. And then she comes home. She says, when are you getting a job? I said, I got one. She said, where? I said, I can't tell you. I'm working undercover, government security. She don't give a crap. Just bring a paycheck home. And now you know how long a day is when you got nowhere to go? Jesus, I'm leaving on the train into New York, wandering around like some bum. And I come home this night. I knocked on the door. I figured when she opens the door, bing out. I said, no, I never hit a woman in my life. I hated that crying crap. I did that once to one of them. I said, nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. I said, I'm my own worst enemy. She said, not as long as I'm alive, you ain't. That straightened that out. I said, why'd you go to AA? So I flew down to Flatbush Beverly group. I met 4 guys I thought had died. These were tough guys. And I went around with them. I went to 900 meetings in 90 days. You could go to all these meetings. They had a clubhouse. We had meetings every half hour or so. And I'm not an alcoholic, though, but I liked what was going on. And then in November of 72, I moved from Brooklyn out to Long Island. And here's what I stopped doing. I stopped going to meetings. Here's the first sign something's going wrong. I got a job back on Wall Street, so I'm taking the Long Island Railroad in from Farmingdale. And I'm sitting in the bar car watching everybody drink, but I'm not an alcoholic. And then my brain is telling me, Leo, you're not an alcoholic. You're a land baron and a commuter. You don't belong in this stupid thing without a drink. And I lasted till Christmas Eve of 72. And we had a big party. And I held a glass of whiskey. Now, if you're in alcohol, don't hold whiskey in your hand. Well, I said, I'll just hold it. And there were 400 people at the party. And they said, Merry Christmas. And all of them looked at me, probably 2. I said, well, I'll just swiggle it and spit it out. And I swallowed it. And I think I give me a triple. And I drank that night. And wow, I had a ball. I had a big paycheck. So I got toys. And the wife had been to Al-Anon. So she shut up and didn't bother me anymore. And we had a nice time. Except now the shaking's back. I didn't know what that happened again. And 6 weeks later, it was February the 19th, 1973. I'm crawling around my bedroom floor, gagging, throwing up, shaking. This sucks. Oh my God. And my daughter knocks on the thing, says, Dad, there's a phone for you. And I went, there's 2 friends of mine, Nutsy and Junior. I'd call up this guy, Chicky, who lived out in Massapequa. And he says to me, where you living? I said, over here in Massapequa. Oh, I know that address. You want to go to a meeting? I said, no, thanks. He said, good, I'll be right over. And he picked me up, and I got the greatest thing in the world. He took me up to this Turnpike group, and I met 28 of the greatest men and 7 of the greatest women I ever met in my life. You see, they weren't interested in whether my mommy liked me or my daddy didn't care for me. They didn't know nothing. They wanted to know, what part of no more drinking don't you understand, Leo? This is Alcoholics Anonymous. We don't drink here no more. Do you understand that? You got any brain damage? No. Well, then you're all right from step 2. You ain't going to drink again, are you? And I said to Phil and Eddie, my sponsor Phil was there that night. His sponsor Eddie was there. He had 10 years, and Joe Dale had 25 years. And I got the 4 greatest words I've ever heard. I said to Phil and Eddie, I really can't get sober. I had a tough childhood. They said, it's over. Stop the crap. And then I said to Joe, this AA don't work. What should I do different? He said, stop drinking. And he was right. And then he said to me, are you an alcoholic? And for the first time in my life, I said, yes. I don't know what the hell. It must have been that spiritual thing. I said yes. And I know if you say yes in my neighborhood, you ain't doing it no more. But I also knew I had to do something, because I had a good friend of mine. He was in Vietnam, and they got attacked by the Viet Cong, and they had to go through this minefield, and they didn't have any mine detector. So they drew straws, and the short straw took a knife and went boom, 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 boom. And if he made it through, you followed very closely in his footsteps. And I met him there that night. He said, I'm following very closely in these guys' footsteps. And that's what I did, these men and women, because they weren't interested in whether my mommy liked me. Maybe you're a crappy kid. I don't know nothing about that. You are here today to stop the damn drinking. You understand that? Get active and stay active. In those days, we went out at 7 o'clock at night, probably got home at 11. But I know my wife, she used to say to me, you don't have to bring them back here, take them somewhere else for Christ's sake. Because I see that now, they clap. I'm back a day. Nobody clapped. The only ones clapping the last time I relapsed were my kids when the police took me out in handcuffs. Yeah, don't bring them back here. Take them to Florida somewhere. So I don't clap. I'm glad you're back. But I want to know what part of no more drinking don't you understand? This is Alcoholics Anonymous. We don't drink here no more. My sponsor that night gave me the greatest thing ever. He said to me, Leo, I want you to think of what it does to you, not for you. Because I would take a drink and I'd be in the Copacabana having sex with this blonde. And that did happen in 1955. This is 1973. And I'm still dreaming of that crap, like she's waiting for me there. He said to me, I want you to think of what it, and it does. The thought of a drink disgusts me. It really does. That I allowed it to take away a law degree, kids, and cars, and houses. So I don't have much trouble with that. And then I said to Phil, he looked like my cousin Vinny. You'd have loved him. And he was half Irish and half Italian. I knew that. He talked with one hand. Good to see you, Leo. And come here. And I told Phil, come here. I got to talk to you. You believe in this God stuff? He said to me, come here. I'm going to show up being prepared that there is one. And if there ain't one, I don't give a damn. But I don't want to show up thinking there ain't one, and there he is. No, two going down. No, you're too late yet, jackass. I gave you all these chances. So I said, geez, I didn't have much trouble with that. I went to Catholic schools, and I grew up in neighborhoods in Brooklyn where we had the Godfather, the underboss, and the consigliere. I got the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So I'm in with them. I argue with the two little guys, never with the big guy. I always leave him nice. You have good chances with him. And it's just such a nice program to work. You go out, you help another drunk. And that's what my sponsor told me. He said, Leo, you'll speak sometime. He said, but the only one you're ever going to help is you. Someone else might get something out of it. But of course, if I had the power to get anybody sober, it would be Leo's Anonymous. And you see those little dopey baskets we pass around? I pass barrels around so you can put your rings and your watches in there, like some of these televangelists, but that ain't going to happen. Thank God. And that's what I keep doing. I keep going to meetings, and it's been, oh God, nice things happen. I have my youngest daughter is 2. When I got sober, she's 2.5. She's 53 now. And she loves AA, because right then I got a coffee truck out here in Long Island. And first day I get it, big article in one of the newspapers, Mafia owns coffee trucks. Well, people swept my sidewalks. The snowplow came down there first. Everybody stayed away from me. I like that. And we used to go around. Who do I get to sponsor? Chain Gang Eddie, Machine Gun Bobby, the Axeman, Joey Blue Eyes, Frankie Bug, Nutsy Fig. I had a guy, Silver Bullet Lenny. He carried a Derringer with a silver bullet in the underchamber. He was afraid of werewolves. And my daughter would say, Dad, are there werewolves? I said, don't worry, Lenny will shoot them. You don't have to worry about those damn werewolves. She was in the first grade in this Catholic grammar school, I said, at the St. Killian's. And I had a show and tell that night. There were 1,000 students, 500 parents, and they put a big A&A sign up. My daughter jumps up. Can you identify that mug? Yes, that's Alcoholics Anonymous. My daddy goes there. None says very nice, but it's American Airlines. But she don't give a damn. She knows what it done for her daddy. Because I sent her to a college up outside of Boston, Stonehill, and she met the guy there. I'd have paid $100 million for this guy, but I have to realize she picked a man who adored her because she had a father who adored her. No matter what she wanted, I told her no problem. She's how smart she is. She said, Dad, can I have a hamburger? So I'd get her 2 hamburgers, 2 French fries, and 2 sodas. The next time she said, Dad, can I have a half a hamburger? And she does. I'd only give her 1. She was very sharp that way. She knew what to do. And she knew how to talk to people. And oh, God. But it was that Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I was waiting at LaGuardia. She was going to fly out of Logan. And Paul got a job doing something. And she said, I'll go with you, Paul. And he said, Mom, but I got to go over to this other side of Boston. And I don't know if I can get you back to the airport in time. What happens if you miss your plane? I can't drive you home. I have an Italian family. They're waiting for me up there. He said, don't worry about it. She said, Morgan, I can. What will you do if you miss your plane? She said, I'll call my father. He'll come pick me up. And I would have. She knew damn well about that. And you know, that's the things that can happen here. You can have some nice times with people doing those things. You can help a lot of people. Because I went into nut houses. They used to have, and the clients, they were a little different in those days. There was Caesar, Napoleon, Lincoln Patrick, Cleopatra, Jesus, and they'd all be standing there. But if you're not a speaker like I wasn't at first, because the first time I ever spoke was May 19th, 1973. I had 90 days. I shook so hard. My name's Leo. I'm an alcoholic. And if you coughed, I started over. If you sneezed, I started in the middle. Holy boy. But you know, the greatest part of AA, when you finish, everybody comes up and says, boy, you were the best. I never heard anything like that before. So if you're not a speaker, go to a detox. Nobody knows what you're talking about. They're in detox. They're just looking at you to see if you're smiling. And you're getting, and like I said, I'm getting all this stuff off me and remembering it, that's what goes on. And you can have a great time with this. And then I started to go around all the time speaking. I've spoken in every state except Hawaii and Alaska, and I had more fun with doing those things. And you know, the greatest thing in the world is, you know, because I remember the reason I got fired from Merrill Lynch is I had started to drink in the morning. I got on the elevator with my boss. Did you ever try to hold your breath for 39 floors? You know, he's looking at me. I'm turning beet red. And then back in those days, I used to have to buy those little 1 ounce bottles. So I'd buy 12 of them, put 3 in each. They called me Clinky because the glass would clink all over. Now they're plastic, but you can't put a pint in your pocket or a quart, for Christ's sake. But here comes Clinky. But the greatest thing now is you can have a lot of fun with things. AA is a great thing. I'll tell you a couple of stories. I was in a supermarket. I guess it was on a Sunday, a day right at the New Year's. This beautiful little boy comes running around to his mother. Mommy, you pick me up. She said, Steven, I have to shop. I can't. I said, can I talk to you for a minute? She said, sure, what's the matter? I said, I'd pay $1 million to have some little boy or girl run up to me and say, Grandpa or Dad, can you pick me up? And I tell you, only till you're 18. And then I'm not picking you up anymore after that. And I walked away, and 10 steps, I hear, Mister. I turn around, she has the boy up in her arms, and he's smiling. She says, thank you. Have a nice New Year's. So you can help people somehow, those things like that. You know, and then we go on vacation into Maine, in York, Maine, and there's the 3 grandsons, my wife, my son-in-law, and his family. And then I go up and order the sandwiches, and you got to step back because there's 20 other people. Now, when I step back, I look around. Let me tell you something. I stand next to a weird-looking guy because if he's going to start shooting, I want to jump him. I don't want to get executed. I want to get shot to death. I don't mind that. Anyway, there's this big, tall Italian guy, about 6'5". He's 220. He's got arms like steel girders, diamond rings on him. Big black hand. This beautiful little girl comes running around. She said, Daddy, can I have this bear? He said, put it back. She flew. I said to the guy, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? He says, yeah, what's up? I said, that's your little girl? He says, yeah. I said, God, she's beautiful, priceless. I said, I had one like that, but she's gone now. He said, I'm sorry. I said, oh, no, she's 44. She's down the beach. But when she come running to me, Daddy, can I have a pair of gloves? I said, I'll buy you a new outfit. No, Dad, I only need gloves. Daddy, can I have a slice of pizza? I said, I'll buy you the whole pie. No, Dad, I only want a slice. And then she said, my daddy, can I have an ice cream cone? I said, I'll buy you that whole truck. No, Dad, I only want a cone. And then that night she'd come in and she'd say, my daddy, can I sleep with you? I said, I'd pull her up and get it in. And that big fat Irish head would come over and she'd whisper in my ear. I said, my daddy, I love you. I said to the guy, you know, Christ, I miss that. Jesus. And he stared at me. And he goes, honey, bring that bear here. I'll buy it for you. She came flying around, jumped up into his arms. He's holding her. I got my sandwiches. I walked out the door. He put his hand out about the size of the table. And he said, thank you, mister. I said, no, you thank God in AA. You don't have to thank me. He just looked at me like, and I walked down. And, that's some of the nice things because you learn that even like when I first got married, you got to learn how to be a smart guy. Because my first marriage, I had a job in Albany for a month. I had to be there Monday morning at 12. I'd leave Friday at 12. And I would just get home. And the first weekend home, my wife says to me, the faucet's broken. I said, no kidding. What do you want me to do? Fix it. You don't want to see me with a tool in my hand unless it's a hammer, we're in a fight, and I'm on your side. Otherwise, you want to see me with no tools. I said, well, come here. You see plumber written up there? She said, no. I said, well, remember that around here. So the next weekend, I come home, the ironing cord is broken. She said to me, I need you to fix. I said, come here. Is there something wrong with you? Do you see electrician written up there? She said, no. I said, well, I want you to start remembering these things. So next weekend I come home, they're fixed. I said, aha, you got the message. She said, no, Archie, take a look out the window. So I look out the window, there's a truck, JR Handyman. She said, I had him over. He did. I said, geez, he did a nice job. Was he expensive? I'll pass his name around the neighborhood. She said, no, he was reasonable. He told me I could either have sex with him or bake him a cake. I said, no kidding. What kind of cake you bake him? She said, you see Betty Crocker written up there? Do you see Betty Crocker written up there? So that was the end of that one. So you learn as you go along not to be a jackass. And about 4 years ago, I lived part-time in New Hampshire. I got a call from a guy. He said, my name's Wade. I'm the chairman of the young people in AA. And we're 13 to 19. We're having our regional convention in Nashua. And Leo, we'd like you to be our dinner speaker. I said, 13, you know who you're talking to? He says, yeah, we heard your CD. You were the unanimous choice. It's okay. I'll be there. So I show up. There's 500 kids. And they're all there. They sat down. I stood up. I'm dressed just like this. I said to them, my name's Leo Hurley. I said, I'm an alcoholic and drug addict. And I'm going to be honest for the first time in my life. I'm really only 19, but this is what drinking and drugging does to you. Well, they laughed the rest of the night. I had a ball with these kids. They were laughing and snickering. And I left. And then 6 months later, I went over to my daughter's house. She had to go somewhere. So I went into Nashua to go to a meeting, and it was an anniversary. And I'm walking in, and this young girl jumps up. That's him. I said, no, girl, not me. I couldn't even think of what you're talking about. That's him. She said, well, the guy's got arms like legs. I got no weapon. I said, oh, my God. And he gets up. She said, that's Leo Hurley. So comes walking around. He said, Leo, my name's John. He said, I want to tell you something. My girl's been on fire since she was at your thing. She listens to your CD. She has meetings in the house. She goes to meetings. She takes me. She goes with me everywhere. She takes me everywhere. And he started a little teaser. I just want to thank you for giving me back my little girl. I said, John, you need to thank God in AA, not me. He said, well, suppose I thank God in AA for you. I said, well, that's nice. I like that. And these are the kind of things you can get. You can also get some troubles. I've had, in the last 50 years, I don't want you to think life has been, but I knew one thing, I could never drink again. I knew I could never pick up that stupid drink again. I've been bankrupt. I lost $250,000, my house, a foreign sports car. I stiffed 20 banks. I owed the IRS 5 figures. I walked out of bankruptcy court. I said, why me, God? He said, because you pissed me off. That's why you. I was so dry. I was a fire hazard. I'd be sitting at a meeting. Some guy said, I'm going to commit suicide. I'd say, hey, you want the gun? That's not sobriety. And I'm sitting there thinking about other things and where I should be and where I want to be and not where. That's not sobriety. That's just hanging in. But I knew one thing, no drinking. I got that down pat. And I know something. They say, if you take a drink, you'll die. Well, my disease does not want me dead. If I die, it's got to find some other jackass like me, and it's going to have a tough time doing that. There ain't many clowns like me around. So they want me alive and drunk. I know what would happen if I drank right now. I'd live another 40 years. I could see me with the card. Can I have your nickel? Can I sleep on your couch tonight? Can you drive me somewhere? I'd rather whack you than ask you to drive me somewhere. That's embarrassing. I look in the mirror, I see some guy sitting there, his wife, or someone's driving. I say, look at this jackass, got a DWI. Has to have his mommy drive him somewhere. And I got in trouble for that. I was teaching my 16-year-old granddaughter how to drive. My daughter called me up. She said, Dad, what'd you say to Madison? I said, I don't know why. What did I say to her? She said, well, we were driving here tonight. We pull up, some guy sitting there, his wife's driving. She said, hey, Mom, look at this jackass. He got a DWI. Has to have his mommy drive him somewhere. She said, who told you that? She said, Grandpa. I said, no, I'm just pointing out real men drive. With them stupid keys to nobody. And I like that. And then, this other thing, I sponsored a guy. He was a hitman loan collector for the boys up at the commissary. And they used to send him out to collect loans when no one else would pay. And he was a nice guy, an ex-boxer. And he was on and off, but he had trouble with the program. But I was working up in New Hampshire in 98. Calls me up one day, said, Leo, it's a Monday morning, 8 o'clock. I could hear him. I said, Dennis, what's up? He said, I'm in Atlantic City. I got an 8-ball, 2 8-balls and a bottle of rum, my pistol, and I just lost $40,000. Now, this is from people you shouldn't borrow from, let alone steal from. I said, well, Dennis, look, I'll do you a favor. I'll call Sal and Joe and see if I can get your pass. I mean, they won't clip them. And he said something I never forgot. He said, I'd commit suicide, but I ain't sure I'd go to a better place. He said, and I don't want to get there. And some guy say, how'd you get here? You killed yourself to get here. Hey, this jackass killed himself to get here. Boy, you thought you were having fun. You're in a worse place than you. We're all trying to get out of here, you jerk. So if you're ever thinking of suicide, be sure you know where you're going. You're liable to be going to a worse place, and it ain't going to be too happy down there, and you might not get out of there. Here, whatever's going on will work right through you. So I got to keep up that stuff going real tough. And that's what I got to be. I got to be tough all day long. I got to get the meetings. I pray in the morning. I pray, and I do it very easy. I ask God for 4 things. Help me stay sober today. Show me the way to get to heaven. Let me help another drunk. And please don't have me hurt another human being today, unless they ask for it. And then, let my response be mild. Can I talk to you? And then if I have to, I'll whack you and send you to Fountain Avenue. But I don't want to do that. I just want to have some nice times. It's not bad. And my sponsor gave me some good tips. See, when I get in the car, I drive like from New Hampshire down to New York. I'm in New York now. I'm working. And I have to drive 300 and something miles. Do you know how many people I'd like to kill on the way down, blow their car up and everything else? But I don't do that. I play AA tapes. Because if I get in the car with that boom, 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 beep, beep, next thing, I'm zooming behind you. So I play AA tapes. I play Tony Robbins tapes. I need to be motivated. Because I got sick about 10 years ago. I got this Wegener's disease. Only me and Wegener got it. It affects your immune system. And I almost died. And the doctor came into the room. He said, Leo, what's your blood type? I said, I don't know. He said, well, tell me something about yourself. I said, well, I'm an alcoholic and drug addict. He said, oh, I know your blood type, B negative. And you know what my blood type is? B negative. So it's got to be something in there with that stuff. And I got to work on that. So I don't read the newspaper. Because if I do, on the second, third page, he did what to a kid? I'll drive by and shoot his ass. I'm taking the address. I don't even know the guy. I don't watch the 11 o'clock news because if I do, by 11:30, there's 10 nationalities I know I should blow up, 24 players, we should break their kneecaps. I go to bed mad at these people. I don't even know them. I don't know the people around the corner. I'm worried about the people, what's going on in Texas. Let them do what they want. My sponsor told me, mind your damn business. Try to pay attention to your job, your family, and AA, and you're going to be okay, he said, because those are the things that matter to you. What's going on anywhere else? Well, let it go on. I always pray to God to let it fluff the other way, away from me. So if you work your program hard all day long, my life goes easy. When I work my program easy, my life goes hard. I don't give a damn how long I'm sober. So I got to do it all the time. And it gets tough for a guy like me. I was telling them before, we had a thing out here in 500 people at a fundraiser for Dr. Bob's house. And 400 people I knew 2 names. Jesus, I can remember Zazu Pitt from 80 years ago. I can't remember someone I met 6 minutes ago. That's tough when you get old. I don't like that. But I know one thing, I ain't gonna drink. I'll never forget that. That's one thing I know. What part of no more drinking don't you understand? I understand it explicitly like that. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go home tonight. And I'm gonna say a little prayer for each one of you, because, like I said, when I got here, they told me, Leo, we like you and all that. And that these other people kept saying, keep coming. And they told me up there, Leo, we love you. And I'm gonna say a little prayer that each and every one of you never ever have to drink again. And if no one told you they love you today, neither do I. Get over it. God loves you. You don't need me to love you. And thanks for having me here. And we're 4 minutes short, but have a good night.